Welcome to the Jamodi podcast, where we interview coaches and leaders to find out not just what they do, but how they do what they do. Becoming the best version of ourselves is Jamodi, just a matter of doing it. What are the non-negotiables in your program?
Well, we had a list of priorities, and so for us, I was a public high school, not a private Christian school, but we made their personal spirituality beliefs as their number one. So we never talked about what they should believe or how they should practice, but whatever beliefs they had, we said that comes as your thing you should consider the number one thing in the program. So if they had a church night on Wednesday night and they needed to miss practice, then that was an excused absence. The second thing is their personal and family health. So they need to take care of themselves. They need to take care of their family health. So again, if it was I'm not talking about a sore muscle or something like that, but if there was an injury situation that was affecting their personal health, if they were sick, then they're not going to play because they need to take care of themselves ahead of a basketball game. The third is citizenship, where any problems they get into in a school or hopefully never happen, but anything in the community, those things were always their behavior was more important than basketball. Fourth was academics, and then basketball was fifth. So again, I didn't tell them what they had to do with their religious beliefs, but those other things, if they didn't put those ahead of basketball, then basketball wasn't going to be an option because wasn't going to have people missing practice because they were in detention, or didn't want to have people academically ineligible. But more importantly than that, as a coach, you can have some effect on how they're acting in class. You can have some effect on how they're acting around school. And again, it's habits. You're building habits at a young age for them that hopefully will carry over. And the discipline that you try to have as a coach, then to me, that discipline is hopefully will someday become self-discipline. But when you're young and influential, and I certainly don't think coaches are more important than parents. I don't think they're more important than teachers, but I really believe, I think maybe some of these things are cliches, but they're cliches I believe in, that I think it takes a village to raise a child. Mm-hmm. And to me as coaches, we're a part of that village. And what we have is something that they love to do. They love to play basketball. Unfortunately, very few of them. I was an algebra teacher. Not a lot of kids wanted to come in and were excited about factoring binomials and trinomials.
They weren't psyched to come to class and just get after it.
No, they didn't want to solve quadratic equations. They didn't want to do those things, but they do love to come and play basketball or volleyball or whatever your sport is. Mm-hmm. So you as a coach, I think, can have an impact on them because we have something they love. And if we say, this is what you love, but you're going to have to be a good citizen, you're going to have to take care of your family, personal health, take care of your academics, put those things ahead of basketball, then I think that hopefully teaches them some life lessons and puts things in perspective for them. So that's maybe a little different than what a lot of programs do, but that was the list of priorities that we had. And it helped me make decisions. We had a kid that was going on a field trip for his class, where it was a really good opportunity for him to go to a field trip, and it was the day before our regional, which in Indiana, that's the 41 sectional, and you're playing in the regional. And it was the day that we had a chance to go practice at the facility that we were going to play in. But when he came to me and he asked me, I didn't have to think, the academics is a priority. Unfortunately, it conflicts with basketball. But in this case, you need to go on your field trip. It's a very important part of what you're doing. So
I think those standards are great, and the fact that basketball is fifth out of that list, we want our players to know that we actually care about them. But I'm guilty of so many times only talking about basketball, only dealing with basketball, and it appears I only care about basketball. But when you have basketball at number 5 and there's 4 other areas that you're saying as their coach that are more important that you have to focus on, I would imagine the players would think that you care more about them as people than just as players.
Well, I mean, I hope so. And number 6 on the list then was social. So if I had a date on Friday night, the practice
Just
of the game came
reschedule it.
first.
Yeah,
And
reschedule that date.
yeah,
Yeah.
we did have. I didn't actually have this, but a coaching friend of mine, one of his senior players was dating a girl who was a freshman in college, and he had her sorority dance the night of one of their games. He asked if he could go on that. And he said, "Well, you're not married yet, are you?" And he said, "No." And, well, she's not family, so that's social. That's after basketball.
That's good. Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the Jamodi podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.